I am Jarvis, your storyteller. Welcome to the Science Fiction Exploration. If you like the story, please subscribe to our channel. The golden fields of New Eden stretched endlessly under twin suns, a testament to humanity's greatest achievement in colonization. Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez stood at the observation deck of Colonial Defense Station Alpha, his dark eyes fixed on the harvest drones moving methodically through the wheat fields below. 20 years of peace had made this routine feel almost mundane. That peace would shatter in exactly 6 minutes. The first signs came as subtle distortions in the upper atmosphere. Rodriguez might have missed them if he hadn't spent the last decade studying every peculiarity in New Eden skies. The distortions grew, morphing into shapes that shouldn't exist in natural space. His blood ran cold as recognition dawned, cloaking technology failing under atmospheric entry. Emergency Protocol Delta, Rodriguez's voice cut through the calm of the morning shift. Multiple hostile signatures detected. This is not a drill. The Reixian warships emerged from their failing cloaks like demons materializing from smoke. Their biomechanical hulls gleamed with an oily iridescence that defied human engineering. Dozens, then hundreds of ships pierced through New Eden's atmosphere, their very presence a violation of every peace treaty signed in the last century. In the colony's central command, Governor Elena Winters watched in horror as emergency signals flooded her neural interface. 3 million civilians, her responsibility, her people. Initiate immediate evacuation of all civilian sectors, she commanded, her voice steady despite the chaos erupting around her. Priority to underground shelters, security forces to defensive positions. The colony's defense systems awakened, particle cannons emerging from hidden bunkers across the landscape. But the Reixians had planned well. Their first strike targeted the power grid, electromagnetic pulses cascading across the colony's infrastructure. Shields flickered and died. Communication networks crackled into silence. Above the chaos, Admiral Thexka of the Reixian Empire watched with cold satisfaction. His elongated fingers traced patterns on the organic control interface of his flagship. The humans believed their treaties would protect them, he communicated to his battle network. Show them the cost of such naivety. Drop pods rained from the Reixian ships, each containing dozens of warriors. Their exoskeletons, evolved over millennia of warfare, made them living weapons. They struck with precision, targeting defense installations and evacuation routes with equal brutality. In the agricultural district, Dr. James Harrison led a group of civilians through maintenance tunnels, his knowledge of the colony's infrastructure proving invaluable. "Keep moving," he urged, supporting an elderly woman as they navigated the dark passages. Behind them, the sounds of combat grew closer. Lieutenant Rodriguez had made it to the ground, organizing a desperate defense around one of the main civilian shelters. His security forces, armed with standard peacekeeping gear, faced warriors bred for conquest. "Hold the line," he shouted, his plasma rifle burning through its charge as he dropped another Reixian warrior. "They don't get past us." Governor Winters coordinated what remained of the colony's response from a mobile command center, racing through underground tunnels. "Any contact with Earth Command?" she demanded, watching as another sector went dark on her tactical display. "Negative," her communications officer replied, face pale in the emergency lighting. "They're jamming all deep space transmissions, but the quantum beacon—" It got a burst signal out before they destroyed it. Winters nodded grimly. The beacon had been their failsafe, a final warning to Earth if the worst should happen. Now all they could do was survive long enough for help to arrive. Hours bled into days. The colony's defenders fought with everything they had, but they were outmatched. The Reixians didn't just want victory, they wanted to make an example. They broadcasted their atrocities across captured communication channels, ensuring the colonists witnessed their methodical dismantling of everything humans had built. In his last stand at Defense Station Beta, Rodriguez and his remaining forces found themselves surrounded. "It's been an honor," he told his troops, as Reixian heavy weapons reduced their fortifications to slag. Their sacrifice bought time for hundreds of civilians to reach the deep shelters. By the 7th day, New Eden had fallen. Governor Winters, along with thousands of survivors, huddled in the deepest emergency bunkers. The Reixians could have breached them easily, but they chose to wait. Psychological warfare was their specialty. "Let them cower," Admiral Thexka declared to his warriors. "Let them feel the weight of their helplessness. When Earth sends its pathetic rescue fleet, they will find only ashes and broken spirits." But Thexka had made a fatal miscalculation. The quantum beacon's signal hadn't just reached Earth, it had reached all of humanity's worlds. And in that moment, ancient protocols were awakened. Programs and preparations, hidden from public view, designed for exactly this scenario. Deep in Earth's Himalayan command complex, Admiral Helena Donovan received the signal personally. Her authorization codes activated Plan Prometheus, the unleashing of humanity's true military might. Across the solar system, hidden shipyards awakened. Weapons platforms, disguised as research stations, powered up. And soldiers, trained in secret for generations, emerged from their waiting. The Reixians believed they had struck a devastating blow against a weak species. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant. Humanity's response would reshape the galaxy forever. As New Eden burned, its survivors held on to hope. They didn't know it yet, but their suffering would become the catalyst for humanity's ascension. The Reixians had wanted to make an example of New Eden. Soon, they would become an example themselves. Thunder of retribution. The orbital shipyards above Mars buzzed with unprecedented activity. Hidden bay doors, dormant for decades, slid open to reveal humanity's best-kept secret. Admiral Helena Donovan stood aboard the bridge of the UES Hyperion, Earth's most advanced warship, watching as hundreds of vessels emerged from their chrysalis of secrecy. "Status report," she commanded, her silver hair reflecting the red glow of Mars below. The bridge crew worked with practiced precision, though none had served in actual combat. Until now, they had been Earth's shadow fleet, a contingency never meant to be revealed. "All vessels reporting ready, Admiral," Captain Marcus Way announced, his fingers dancing over holographic controls. "The Prometheus protocol has activated dormant shipyards throughout the system. We're looking at over 1,000 ships, fully armed and crewed." Donovan nodded, her expression grim. The quantum beacon's final transmission from New Eden had triggered more than just military protocols. It had awakened humanity's wartime industry, hidden beneath civilian facades across every colony and outpost. In lunar orbit, General Dante Jackson oversaw the deployment of the 1st Orbital Marine Division. Power-armored troops boarded assault carriers, their suits incorporating technology kept secret from even Earth's closest allies. "Remember your training," he broadcasted to his soldiers. "Everything we've prepared for every simulation and drill, it was all for this moment." The Reixians had expected to face a peaceful civilization's hastily assembled defense force. Instead, they would confront an army that had trained in shadow for generations, armed with weapons that defied conventional physics. Deep within Mercury's underground facilities, Dr. Olivia Chen activated the quantum communication network, another hidden asset. "Fleet-wide quantum entanglement achieved," she reported to Admiral Donovan. "The Reixians won't be able to jam or intercept our communications." The response fleet grew larger by the hour. Ships that had masqueraded as cargo vessels shed their civilian shells, revealing weapon systems that had only existed in theory for Earth's enemies. The Prometheus protocol had hidden humanity's true military might in plain sight, disguised as commercial vessels, research stations, and civilian infrastructure. Admiral Donovan addressed the assembled fleet, her voice carried instantly across the quantum network. "For decades, we prepared in secret, hoping this day would never come. The Reixians believe they struck a defenseless colony. They believe we are weak." She paused, letting the weight of the moment sink in. "Show them how wrong they are." The fleet moved with choreographed precision, ships forming battle groups that had drilled for this scenario countless times in the simulator. The UES Hyperion led the vanguard, its quantum drive spinning up for the first time in actual combat conditions. In the ship's tactical center, Intelligence Officer Raj Patel analyzed the latest data from New Eden. "The Reixians are settling in for occupation," he reported. They're broadcasting their atrocities, trying to break our people's spirit. They expect a response, but nothing like this. The fleet's departure from Sol was noticed across the galaxy. Other species, who had long dismissed humans as technological infants, watched in stunned silence as the true face of Earth's military power revealed itself. Ships equipped with drives that shouldn't exist, weapons that bent reality itself, and armor that laughed at conventional physics. "All ships battle formation Delta," Donovan commanded as they approached their first jump point. "Remember, this isn't just about revenge. This is about showing the galaxy that humanity will never again be seen as easy prey." The quantum drives engaged simultaneously, 1,000 ships vanishing in a cascade of light that resembled a new constellation being born. They would emerge near New Eden in hours, not the weeks that standard FTL travel would require. Back on Earth, the World Council convened in emergency session. Chancellor Yuki Tanaka addressed the assembled leaders. "Today, we end the masquerade. Our patience and restraint were mistaken for weakness. The Reixians will learn the cost of that mistake." The Liberation Fleet's journey was marked by final preparations. Marine squads ran combat drills in zero gravity. Weapons officers calibrated systems that had only existed in theoretical papers available to Earth's enemies. Every soldier and crew member knew they were about to shatter the galaxy's understanding of human capabilities. Aboard the Hyperion, Captain Wei approached Admiral Donovan in a private moment. "The crews are ready," he reported. "But there's something else. The quantum sensors are picking up unusual activity in Reixian space. They might suspect something's coming." Donovan's lips curved in a cold smile. Let them suspect. Nothing in their intelligence reports, nothing in their wildest predictions could have prepared them for this. As the fleet neared its destination, Dr. Chen's quantum communications picked up scattered transmissions from New Eden survivors. Governor Winters and the remaining colonists still held out in their bunkers, their resistance becoming legend even as the Reixians tried to break them. "Send them a message," Donovan ordered. "One word, Dawn." It was the code they had waited to hear, the promise that humanity had not abandoned them. The fleet prepared for its final jump. In her command chair, Admiral Donovan addressed her forces one last time. "The Reixians wanted to make an example of New Eden. Now we make an example of them. Show them why humanity kept its strength hidden. Show them why we are not to be underestimated." The quantum drives spun up for their final jump. In moments, they would arrive at New Eden, bringing with them humanity's thunder of retribution. The galaxy was about to learn why Earth's apparent peace had been a choice, not a necessity. The Reixians had awakened a giant. Now they would face the consequences of their arrogance. Operation Stormbreaker. The quantum field collapsed in a brilliant flash of light, and humanity's fleet materialized above New Eden. Admiral Thexka's certainty evaporated as his sensors registered the impossible. Where he had expected a handful of primitive rescue ships, an armada of unprecedented size and capability filled his tactical display. "Impossible," he hissed, his crystalline exoskeleton crackling with stress. "Their technological level, this cannot be." Admiral Donovan's voice cut through every Reixian communication channel, a demonstration of humanity's quantum communication superiority. "This is Admiral Helena Donovan of the United Earth Defense Fleet. You have one chance to surrender and withdraw from New Eden. There will not be a second offer." The Reixian response came in the form of plasma torpedoes, their signature weapons streaking across space toward the human fleet. On the bridge of the Hyperion, Donovan merely nodded. "Shield configurations as planned. Let them learn." The plasma torpedoes struck quantum-enhanced shields and simply ceased to exist, converted to harmless energy that the human ships absorbed and redirected. Captain Wei allowed himself a small smile. "Shields holding at 100%, Admiral. They literally cannot harm us." Donovan's voice was steel. "Begin phase 1 of Operation Stormbreaker. Show them what we've kept hidden all these years." The human fleet split into precise formations, executing maneuvers that should have been impossible for ships that size. General Jackson's Marine carriers took up positions above the colony's major population centers. The Reixian fleet scrambled to respond, their tactical doctrine useless against an enemy that defied their understanding of physics. From the Hyperion's tactical center, Officer Patel coordinated the first strikes. Quantum targeting solutions locked. Permission to demonstrate our new toys, Admiral. Granted, weapons free. The human fleet's response redefined the Reixians' understanding of warfare. Quantum-guided missiles phased through their strongest shields as if they didn't exist. Gravity weapons collapsed their formation into chaos, crushing their most powerful ships like tin cans. Each weapon represented decades of secret development, tested and perfected far from prying eyes. In the colony below, Governor Winters and the survivors felt their bunkers shake with new tremors. But these were different, precise, controlled. Through their limited sensors, they watched their tormentors' positions vanish one by one. General Jackson's Marines deployed from their carriers, their power armor making them living tanks. "Strike teams, you have your targets," he commanded. "Priority one is civilian safety. Show these bastards what happens when they harm our people." The Marines dropped from orbit in quantum-shielded pods, each one a precise surgical strike. Their armor, incorporating technology that the Reixians had thought centuries away from human development, made them nearly invincible on the battlefield. Lieutenant Commander Diana Cross led her strike team toward the main Reixian command center. "Remember your training," she told her squad. "They've never faced anything like us. Use that surprise." The Reixians had fortified their positions with technology they believed unbeatable. They watched in horror as human soldiers walked through their energy barriers, their armor shrugging off weapons that should have vaporized them instantly. Admiral Thexka's flagship attempted to retreat, only to find itself trapped in a quantum lock. "What are you?" he demanded over the command channel. "This technology, you were primitives." "No," Donovan replied calmly. "We simply let you believe that. Consider this a lesson in humility." The battle for New Eden skis lasted less than an hour. The Reixian fleet, once confident in their technological superiority, found themselves outmatched in every aspect of warfare. Their ships were systematically disabled or destroyed, their troops on the ground isolated and overwhelmed. In the colony's agricultural district, where Lieutenant Rodriguez had made his last stand days before, Marine squads freed thousands of civilians from detention centers. The survivors emerged to find their tormentors in retreat, their invincible conquerors now running from human soldiers who seemed to command technology from science fiction. Dr. Chen's quantum communications network ensured perfect coordination between all human forces. Every Marine squad, every ship, every weapon system operated as part of a single organism. The Reixians, accustomed to relying on their technological edge, found themselves facing an enemy that had surpassed them in every field they had thought they dominated. Governor Winters emerged from her bunker to find Commander Cross waiting. "The colony is secure, Governor," the Marine officer reported. "The enemy is in full retreat. Those who haven't surrendered are being contained." The liberation of New Eden became a testament to humanity's hidden strength. The Reixians had expected to break humanity's spirit. Instead, they had forced humanity to reveal its true power, carefully hidden and cultivated for generations. Admiral Donovan stood on the Hyperion's bridge, watching as the last Reixian ships were captured or destroyed. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. "New Eden is secured. Operation Stormbreaker is a complete success." But this was only the beginning. The quantum beacon's signal had reached other human worlds, and more hidden fleets were emerging from their chrysalis of secrecy. The galaxy was about to witness the full extent of humanity's preparation and power. In the aftermath of the battle, as medical ships descended to tend to the survivors, Captain Wei approached Admiral Donovan. "The Reixian prisoners are asking how we kept this hidden for so long. What should we tell them?" Donovan's response was simple. "Tell them the truth. Peace was always our preference, but we never confused peace with weakness." The liberation of New Eden marked the beginning of a new era. Humanity had revealed itself as a sleeping giant, awakened by those who mistook patience for vulnerability. The galaxy would never be the same. The Shadow Protocol. While the main fleet secured New Eden, a different kind of operation was unfolding in the shadows. The UES Phantom, a stealth vessel that officially didn't exist, slipped through quantum space toward the heart of Reixian territory. Commander Natasha Volkov stood on its bridge, watching the hostile space unfold before them through advanced sensor arrays. "Stealth systems holding," reported Lieutenant Felix Torres, his hands steady on the quantum controls. "The Reixians still haven't detected our new cloaking technology." The ship's quantum camouflage wasn't just advanced. It represented an entirely new approach to stealth, making the vessel virtually undetectable. Their mission was designated Shadow Protocol, a deep infiltration operation that could potentially end the war before it escalated further. Intelligence had identified a critical weakness in the Reixian command structure, one that could only be exploited from within their own territory. Deep in the Phantom's tactical center, Dr. Aidan Blackwood worked on decrypting intercepted Reixian communications. His expertise in xenolinguistics and quantum computing made him essential for this mission. "Their entire empire runs on a centralized quantum network," he explained to Volkov. "If we can access their main hub, we could potentially shut down their entire military infrastructure." The Phantom carried an elite team of quantum infiltrators, specialists trained in the art of invisible warfare. Captain Jin Park led the infiltration team, her augmented nervous system allowing her to interface directly with the ship's advanced systems. "My team is ready," she reported. "We've studied their security protocols for years. Now we finally get to test our training." As they approached the Reixian core worlds, evidence of chaos became clear. The devastating defeat at New Eden had shaken their empire to its foundations. Their supposedly invincible military had been humbled, and now their leadership was scrambling to understand and respond to humanity's unexpected show of force. "Multiple emergency transmissions detected," Torres announced. "They're mobilizing everything they have. The entire Reixian military is going to full war footing." He paused, analyzing new data. "But there's something else. Internal communications suggest dissent within their hierarchy." Commander Volkov nodded grimly. "That's what we're counting on. Fear and confusion make security protocols sloppy. Doctor, have you identified our entry point?" Blackwood's holographic displays showed a complex network of quantum pathways. "Their main command hub is located in a fortress on Rixus Prime. It's their most heavily defended installation, but," he highlighted a specific node, "there's a vulnerability in their quantum defense grid. A small one, but it's all we need." The Phantom positioned itself in high orbit around Rixus Prime, invisible to the planet's extensive sensor network. Captain Park's team made final preparations in the ship's launch bay, their quantum-enhanced infiltration suits representing the pinnacle of human stealth technology. "Remember," Volkov addressed the infiltration team, "this isn't about brute force. We're not here to fight their army. We're here to prove that all their defenses, all their technology, can't stop us from striking at their heart." The insertion was perfect. Using quantum tunneling technology, Park's team materialized inside the fortress's secure perimeter. Their suits' adaptive camouflage made them virtually invisible, while quantum dampeners masked their energy signatures. They moved like ghosts through the facility, past guards and security systems that never detected their presence. In the command center, Dr. Blackwood guided them through the facility's quantum network. "Their security architecture is complex, but it's based on assumptions about what's technologically possible. They never imagined someone could bypass their quantum encryption." As the team approached the central hub, they encountered something unexpected. "Commander," Park's whispered voice came through the quantum comm, "we're picking up signs of internal conflict. Their own people are fighting each other." Through the team's feeds, Volkov watched as Reixian security forces engaged in firefights with what appeared to be rebel factions. The defeat at New Eden had done more than embarrass their military, it had sparked a revolution within their own ranks. "This changes nothing," Volkov decided. "Complete the mission. Their internal struggles will only make our job easier." Captain Park's team reached the quantum core, the heart of the Reixian military network. While they worked to upload the virus that would give humanity control of their systems, they discovered something shocking in the facility's databases. "Commander," Blackwood's voice was urgent, "you need to see this. The Reixian attack on New Eden." It wasn't just about conquering a human colony. They were afraid. Their long-range sensors had detected our hidden military buildup. They thought they were launching a preemptive strike. The irony wasn't lost on Volkov. The Reixians had attacked because they feared humanity's hidden strength, and in doing so, they had forced humanity to reveal exactly what they feared. The mission reached its climax as Park's team completed the upload. "Virus deployed," she reported. "Their entire command and control system is now compromised. We can shut down their military operations across their entire empire with a single command." But before they could celebrate, new alarms blared through the facility. "Multiple quantum signatures detected," Tors reported from the Phantom. "Their home fleet is returning. They must have been recalled when New Eden fell." The extraction was as tense as the insertion. Park's team fought their way through chaos as the fortress erupted into full civil war. Reixian factions turned on each other, their military discipline shattered by the realization of their vulnerability. The Phantom retrieved the team seconds before the Reixian home fleet entered orbit. But it didn't matter, their mission was already a success. Humanity now held the key to the Reixian military network, a weapon more powerful than any fleet. As they escaped through quantum space, Commander Volkov contacted Admiral Donovan. "Shadow protocol successful," she reported. "We can end this war without firing another shot." The revelation of humanity's true capabilities had done more than defeat the Reixians militarily. It had broken their empire from within. The species that had thought itself superior now faced both external defeat and internal collapse. The Shadow Protocol had succeeded beyond their wildest expectations. Now humanity held the power not just to win the war, but to reshape the galaxy's political landscape. The question was no longer whether they would win, but how they would use their victory. Dawn of the new era. The grand chamber of the Galactic Conclave fell silent as Admiral Helena Donovan strode to the podium. Representatives from 100 spacefaring species watched, their expressions ranging from awe to fear. The events of the past month had rewritten everything they thought they knew about humanity's place in the cosmos. "We come before this assembly not to declare dominion, but to establish understanding," Donovan began, her voice carrying authority earned in battle. "The Reixian Empire's aggression forced us to reveal capabilities we had hoped to keep hidden. Now we must address the questions this revelation has raised." In orbit above the Conclave's neutral world, the UES Hyperion led a fleet that demonstrated humanity's new reality. Ships incorporating technology that most species had thought impossible hovered in perfect formation, a silent reminder of Earth's hidden power. Chancellor Yuki Tanaka, representing Earth's civilian government, stood beside Donovan. For generations, humanity prepared in secret not out of aggression but from a deep understanding of history. We watched as powerful empires subjugated younger species. We learned, we adapted, we evolved. The hall erupted in murmurs as holographic displays showed the full extent of humanity's technological achievements. Quantum drives that defied conventional physics, weapons that could reshape reality itself, defensive systems that made their ships virtually invulnerable to conventional attacks. From his position in the diplomatic section, Dr. Aidan Blackwood monitored the quantum network that now linked human space. The virus planted during Shadow Protocol had given them complete control over Reixian military systems. Their once mighty empire now stood on the brink of total collapse. "The Reixian leadership will face justice for their crimes against New Eden," Donovan continued. "But their people need not suffer for the ambitions of their rulers. We offer them and all species a new path forward." Commander Natasha Volkov, freshly promoted after the success of Shadow Protocol, presented the evidence they had discovered in the Reixian fortress. "Their attack was driven by fear of what they didn't understand. We aim to ensure such fear never again drives us to conflict." The restoration of New Eden had become a symbol of humanity's new approach. Where the Reixians had destroyed, humans rebuilt. Governor Alina Winters, who had led her people through the darkest days of the occupation, now oversaw the implementation of technologies that would make the colony stronger than ever. "We could use our advantage to dominate," Chancellor Tanaka acknowledged, addressing the unspoken fear in the chamber. "Instead, we choose to collaborate. Earth's quantum technology network will be open to all peaceful species. Our advances in medicine, energy, and space travel will be shared with those who join us in building a more stable galaxy." On the screens above, the transformation of New Eden played out. Advanced fabrication systems, hidden for decades, reconstructed destroyed infrastructure in days rather than years. Quantum healing technologies saved those who would have been beyond help just weeks ago. It was a demonstration not just of power, but of possibility. General Jackson, speaking from New Eden via Quantum Link, reported on the integration of former Reixian territories. "Their colonial worlds have accepted our terms. Already, we're seeing cooperation between human and Reixian scientists. Fear is being replaced by curiosity, hatred by understanding." The revelation of humanity's true capabilities had shifted more than military power. It had transformed the galaxy's political and economic landscape. Species that had once dismissed Earth as a backwater now sought alliances. Trade routes were redrawn as quantum drive technology made traditional space lanes obsolete. Captain Jin Park, her infiltration team now serving as advisors to the transition government on Rixus Prime, shared her observations. "Their society is rebuilding around new principles. The next generation of Reixians will grow up understanding that true strength lies not in dominance, but in cooperation." As the conclave session progressed, humanity's vision for the future became clear. Earth would serve not as an empire, but as a foundation for a new galactic order. The quantum network that had been their greatest military asset would become the backbone of unprecedented cooperation between species. "We hid our strength because we had to," Donovan explained. "We reveal it now not to intimidate, but to inspire. The technology that won this war can transform all our societies. The only question is whether we move forward together or allow fear to divide us again." The response came gradually but decisively. One by one, representatives approached the podium to sign the New Eden Accords. Each signature represented not just acceptance of human leadership, but commitment to a shared future. Dr. Chen, whose work on quantum communications had been crucial to their victory, presented the final component of humanity's proposal. "The quantum network will connect all our worlds, all our peoples. Distance will no longer divide us. Knowledge will flow freely. This is the dawn of a truly united galaxy." In the restored fields of New Eden, Lieutenant Rodriguez, now recovered from his wounds, watched the proceedings with the colony's survivors. The same skis that had brought death now promised unprecedented opportunity. Human ships flew alongside vessels from a dozen species, all equipped with shared technology, all working toward common goals. Admiral Donovan concluded the historic session with words that would be remembered for generations. "We kept our strength hidden because we had to survive. We reveal it now because we wish to thrive. The age of isolation and fear is over. Together, we step into a future limited only by our imagination and our willingness to cooperate." As the conclave adjourned, the galaxy had been transformed. Humanity had emerged not just as a military power, but as a force for unprecedented change. The stars themselves seemed brighter, promising not conquest or subjugation, but a new era of exploration, innovation, and unity. The dawn of humanity's new era had arrived, and with it, the promise of a future greater than any species had dared to imagine alone.